Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. So I just got out of Myers. Yesterday was a great day. I had all kinds of energy. My leg didn't start hurting until way later in the day. It was just like my spot in my back that's been bothering me since I lifted those heavy stones in the retaining wall and pulled a muscle like 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's really starting to get a lot better. And my legs a lot better, my knees are a lot better. So yesterday I started working on cars about 6:30 in the morning. Did a few cars, and just, transmission services, oil changes, upper radiator hose, which I had to drive out of town to find that part, but I found it. And just, constant stuff. And then we went to Kings Island. We had down there around 3 or so, and we went to Kings Island and rode coasters. Really busy, whole lot of school buses. That some new rule about kids can't go around unchaperoned or something. I don't know what the heck that's all about. I don't really care, but if they try to throw me out of the park, then I'm not paying the rest of my membership plan because I make monthly payments on it. I'm just going to put a cancellation on that on my account. I've been a Gold Pass member and a Platinum Pass member for more than 10 years, and I'm not putting up with that crap. Basically just had a lot of fun. Got back last night. So about 10 o'clock or so, I went ahead and had 2 Speedway breakfast sandwiches with the bread and cheese taken off, just the bacon, egg, and sausage. And then I didn't eat again until right before we left for Kings Island. I had like 5 or 6 pork and ground beef meatballs. And then when I got back from the park, I had about a pound of chuck roast. So I'm getting hungry, but I noticed that when I'm hungry, I'm not one to eat as much now. I get full faster. So about a pound or a pound and a half of food is all I can do. Now, I tried making the carnivore pasta with the egg white wraps sliced thin into like pasta noodles, and I made the Alfredo sauce out of heavy cream butter and Parmesan, and then made some meatballs and poured that over it. And it was really good, and I really liked the taste of the egg white noodles. But man, they kind of made me feel all bloated and inflamed the next morning. So I'm better doing spaghetti squash when I have a pasta craving, because while it has like 6 grams of carbs in a cup of spaghetti squash, it does not really seem to affect my sugar at all. And it does not make me inflamed or feel bad the next day. So every couple weeks, I'll probably still have some spaghetti squash. I'm going to skip those egg white wraps. Those egg white wraps had some nitrates and niacin stuff in them. So I don't know what all that stuff is, but it's not just egg whites. So I don't know. And it could be the dairy from the sauce too, because I don't eat much dairy. But other than that, I mean, I'm just purely eating meat, right? And I feel great. I'm losing weight. This shirt hardly even fits anymore. It used to be really tight on me, and now it's just hanging off of me. I'm getting some new clothes, but I got to get more new clothes. But as far as like my energy level, I'm just like the Energizer Bunny. I just keep going and going and going and going and going. Nothing really high intense, but I can just keep going and going and going. I don't even think about like being tired or having to walk or doing all that. Now, yesterday at the park, I did have to sit down and stretch out my back because that nerve still gets pinched, that sciatic nerve where I pulled that muscle in my back. I just sat down for a few minutes and stretched it out, and then I was able to keep going. My wife was like, "Oh, do you want a Tylenol?" Like, no, I don't want to poison my liver unless it's absolutely necessary, And I did put an ice pack on that spot on my back last night, and I took a couple of aspirin. which I don't like to take any pills or painkillers, but aspirin's probably the least destructive of them all. So I'll take some aspirin. And the thing about, like, since I've been on the carnivore diet, aspirin works really good. I mean, aspirin used to just be one of those things you took just to take, but it didn't really help at all. But now that I'm on the low carb, the carnivore, aspirin works amazing. It's just a great painkiller. So I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I'm doing good today. I went to Rule King, got oil filter. I'm going to change the oil in my Rendezvous, clean up the garage. I got to clean out the Rendezvous too. It's full of trash because I've just been driving it and just, you know, living in it basically. And, you know, the old Rendezvous got 227,000 miles on her now. She's still going. I bought this car for $200. It's just an amazing car. As far as it just keeps going and going. It's like the Energizer Bunny too. But yeah, I mean, that's how things are going on the carnivore diet. I mean, yesterday I had the eggs, bacon, sausage at around 10, meatballs around 3, and then around 10 o'clock at night I had about a pound of chuck roast fried in bacon grease. And then I went to bed. The really interesting thing is now that, so it used to be when I first started this, I could just sit down and eat 5 pounds of chuck roast, like, oh. And now a pound and a half of meat and I am full, and my body says no more, right? But it does want to eat a little bit more often, I'm noticing, which seems fine. I took my fasting blood sugar last week when I woke up, and it was 72. 72. Like, holy crap. Like, I have never had blood sugar that low in the morning. So that's just amazing. That's amazing. You know, I get into ketosis when I'm at the park and I just keep walking and walking. I did cheat a little bit yesterday, and my son got one of the blue ice cream cones at Kings Island. He's not keto at all, but he's not thin or unhealthy. He just needs to eat more protein. But, you know, like, funny story is my son, when he was really young, he was like, we were like eating at a buffet somewhere, and he's eating chicken nuggets, and he's like, where do chicken nuggets come from, Dad? I'm like, chickens. He's like, you mean like from eggs? Like, no, from chickens. They kill the chickens and grind them up and make chicken nuggets out of them. And this look of horror came over his face, and he just realized that meat is made out of cute furry little animals. And for years he would not eat any meat. We tried and tried. He just wouldn't eat meat, and he was getting these dark circles under his eyes and his face. His skin was getting all kind of like blotchy, and his lips were all messed up. And I looked at him, I was like, he needs some protein. You know, he's a growing boy and he needs protein. And so I went and got a box of the vegan chicken nuggets, and I took the vegan chicken nuggets out and threw them in the trash can in the parking lot, and I filled them up with some Tyson chicken nuggets. I took them home. I'm like, look, these are made from plants. These are great. And he's eating them, like, oh, these are great. And for months, I would go get the Tyson chicken nuggets and refill the vegan chicken nugget box. And then one day he caught me, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just refilling the chicken nuggets. And he looks and he's like, have you been doing that this whole time? You know, I'm like, yeah, I've been giving you real chicken nuggets. And he looked horrified at first, and he was like, well, I'll go ahead and have some more of them because they're good. You know? So chicken nuggets, occasional hamburger. I can get him to eat some bacon, a few pieces of bacon now and then. I can get him to eat a bite or two of steak, but I just try to get all the protein down him that I can. He's thin, but he's still growing, and he needs some protein. He's almost as tall as I am now. He's 14. But yeah, so anyway, he got the blue ice cream that they have at Kings Island, which is unique to Kings Island, and it's really good. And so I decided I was going to have a bite of that. And I took a bite, and it was so sickening sweet that I almost had to spit it out. It was all I could do to swallow it. I was like, oh my gosh, they put too much sugar in that. And he's eating it like, no, it's pretty sweet, but it's good. You know, it's normal. And everybody else is standing around licking their blue ice cream cones. And I'm just like, wow, I just haven't had sweet stuff in so long now that tastes really sickening sweet to me. And so there was that. But other than that, I really haven't cheated. And so, you know, things happen. Anyway, I'm going to get home and change this oil. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.